Hello and welcome. Janet Beckers here with a short teaching episode for you for Romance Your Tribe Radio. Today's on a little bit of a different topic, and it comes around energy, the type of energy that you bring to different tasks that you may be doing in your business, and specifically 3 different focal points within your body where you'll be drawing on that energy for different circumstances. So a little bit different. If you're a person that is into chakras, then you will probably really relate to this and be able to share a lot of great information in the comments down below if you're here on the blog. So please do that, because this is not necessarily an area that I am the expert at, but I'm sharing with you how I have found over time to be able to tap into 3 core areas of energy that allow you to connect with your clients, allow you to persuade and convince with integrity and with energy, and also allow you to be able to keep the energy going in your own business on a day-to-day level. So let's have a look at this. We're going to look at the 3 different core energy points, the focal points that you will be drawing in on your business on a day-to-day basis. When do you normally use those, and how do you tap into the other ones, and why would you want to? So this is a little bit of fun. Hope you have some fun with this. So why am I bringing up this topic anyway? Well, this came up this morning actually. As I'm recording this, I was having the morning huddle with a group of clients who are in my Attractor Tribe Accelerator program. Every single week we get together and we hot seat and really help them on the big issues that are happening in their business. And one of our clients was bringing up about a really important proposal that she'd been putting together, and that she was ready to go to the client and then to let the energy just go with the flow and just surrender. And to me, that was a red flag, because no, baby. There are times to surrender the energy, and there are times for you to tap into your inner dominatrix and to really bring that authority, bring that energy to a project so that people will be motivated and persuaded to be able to move forward. So let's have a look at that. That's why I'm bringing this up, because there are certain times when you need to bring in that energy that are especially when it comes towards sales. And we'll talk about situations where there are sales processes happening in your business that aren't always just necessarily what you would see as a sale with money exchanging. So let's get going. So the 3 main areas are your head, your heart, and what I think of as your inner dominatrix. Now, for people who are really into chakras and understand this better, it may be your sacral, it may be your base. You can see this is not my area, but you know what it is because it's below, it's around your pelvic area. So it's, if you're thinking around there, that is what I call your inner dominatrix. So we've got these 3 areas. When should they be used? And when have you got to get a red flag that, oh, I'm stuck in that particular chakra and that is not the right one for the moment? So let's start from the top and work down. Your head chakra, or your head energy, this is where, as a business owner, you can spend a lot of your time. Now, especially if you are a coach, if you are a consultant, and if you are a service provider, because you're the expert in what you're doing. And quite often a big part about what you will be doing with your clients when you're working with them personally is teaching them what it is that they need to be doing in order to get the transformation that is your responsibility to help them get. Now, in cases of creating content, if you, for example, might be in one of my programs where we're taking your intellectual property and we're creating step-by-step programs so that you can really leverage what you're doing, well, that's content creation. So a lot of times you're going to be in your head. It's a teaching thing, and this is really important. Now, I'll also give you an example at the end. When you, if you're a presenter, that you can very often be in your head, and we'll talk in a moment about how that can sometimes not be a good thing. So understand that in those times, you know, if you're being in your head is really, really important. Also, not just directly with clients, but with yourself in your own business, especially when you're making decisions, you're doing strategizing, you are learning how to do something new, then you're going to be in your head a lot. Now, there can be there is the time for the head, which is important, but here is one problem with when you are up in your head. When you are in your head, you can't connect energetically with people who are in front of you. Whether that person being in front of you is a client who you may be meeting in person, or maybe through Zoom or Skype. So it could be in that way. Even if you're looking at each other visually, if it's just listening, there is not that connection. And if you're in a room full of people, there is not going to be that connection as well. So even though you can be teaching, you're not going to be having the heart-to-heart, that real connection. And you need to have that in order to motivate and persuade people to take action. Now, if you are in a transformational space where you're taking people who've got problem here and they're in point A, you're getting them to point B. So the transformational journey. You can be teaching them as much as you like, but they're the people who are going to have to take action. They're the ones that are going to have to implement whatever you're teaching into their day-to-day lives. So you need to be able to connect so that they can feel that they can do it. So you can't do that just from the head. So you can see how this sometimes is the area that we focus on a lot, but you need to be able to connect to the other two focal points at some stage in order to motivate, inspire, and connect. So I'm curious, I'd like to hear from you. Is this an area that you find yourself in a lot? And if so, do you find this an area it's easy for you to swap over, or do you sometimes feel like you're there all the time? So now let's look at the next one, which is the heart. Now, this is a time, especially if you're a coach and you're connecting, you're asking questions, say for an example, especially if you're saying a life coach, or even myself who is business and mentoring, that heart connection is absolutely important. Because unless you can connect with the person who you are talking with, who you are writing for perhaps, whose videos you're making, unless you can connect heart to heart, they are not going to be feeling that sense of, you know what, I can do this, or this is right. They're not going to be feeling it for themselves. So it's going to find it very difficult for you to motivate people to actually take action, to get results, unless you can tap in to that heart to heart. For example, you might be feeling a little bit now, because I've deliberately dropped down to heart. Now, when I shoot a video, I have an exercise that I do with my clients where I show you how to energetically connect with the camera before you start. And so that the people who are watching it can feel as if, man, you're talking to me. And that's because you are. And I've done so many times where I've had a client that's created a video that is perfect. It's got their script, what they've said is perfect, their presentation, everything is fantastic. Then we've done that exercise to connect with heart and shot it again exactly the same. And even though you may not be able to say why this other one is better, you can feel it. So you need to be able to tap in to heart. And that's something that you need to be doing when you're working with your clients. And you need to be doing it for yourself, because if you've taken the time to really think about strategy and you've been up in your head working out what you're doing, you need to connect back into heart, because that's also going to be your way of motivating and connecting you and keeping you going to implement. So it's not just for others. You need to connect yourself. And that is by bringing your energy and focusing on heart and focusing on love. I know we sound like we're getting woo-woo here, but I tell you what, this stuff works. Now, there is one more point, and that's where the focus was with my client this morning when we brought up this topic, was the inner dominatrix. So in what circumstances are you going to need to tap in to this other energy? Now I want you to put your hands down here, sort of below your belly button and really draw in. Now, this can be a seat of confidence. It is a seat of sexual energy. It is a place where you can be drawing on, and here is the energy that comes up that says, take me seriously, baby, because, man, I know what I'm talking about. And this is how things happen around here. And you know what? Come to me, baby. Come to me. Now, this sort of energy is what I call it the inner dominatrix, because in order for me to be able to tap into that energy, the way that I do that is I visualize this leather-clad, high-heeled, whip-wielding woman that is just going to go, right, let's make this happen, baby. And tapping into that energy is really, really important, because it is situations like this. For example, the client this morning where we were bringing up this topic was, you know what, there's a circumstance here where you've got a client that you've given a great proposal to or about to, and just letting it go through to, let's just put it out to the universe and just surrender, is not going to be the right energy. It is the energy to follow through, to let them know, you know what, I've designed this for you, and we're going to make this happen, baby. You and I together, let's actively get excited about this. That is a very, very different energy to just putting something and then not following through with any energy at all. Now, I'll give you an example of when a few years ago I presented from the stage quite a lot. It was a big part of my marketing strategy. I would go to other people's conferences, I would present from the stage, and at the end of that I would pitch. I would sell from the stage, one of my programs. Now, 90 minutes is the typical time to be on stage. That is a lot of time to keep your own energy going, but also to keep the energy of everybody in the room. And you can see it, you can feel it in a room if you have lost the energy with people. Now, there are times when you need to connect from the heart. There are times when you need to teach. And there are times when you need to really bring in that inner dominatrix and say, here we go, baby. This is, I know what I'm talking about, and you and I, we are going to do this. Now, that may be to persuade to swell, but very often it is to persuade their belief that they can do it. So it's not just, I believe in you. It is, you know what? I believe in you, and we're going to make this happen. It is an extra energy that you bring to it. Now, so much so that I would find that, because you'll do it, you want to give great value when you're presenting from the stage. And so you have a big part where you are teaching people, giving them really good strategies, tactics, and things that they can be using to be able to take action. Now, it is very easy at that time to go up into your head because you're teaching. But as I said before, when you're up in your head for too long, you're not connecting with people energetically. So you will lose. You will lose them, and that's when you see rooms start to get a bit restless, or somebody nodding off over there in the corner. Not good. So it's at those times when you really need to draw in to that inner dominatrix. And so what I would do is, I had, at the time when I was doing a lot of this presenting, I don't do it so much now, but I might get back into it. I really enjoy the energy. But at that time there was a guy, Chris, who was the AV guy, who became really good friends. We became really good friends, and he was very good at being able to read the energy in a room and read the energy of the different presenters. And he could see when I was going into heart, going into head, and that I was losing the energy of the room. And so I told him my idea of, I'm just going to draw on that inner dominatrix, because that is the energy that I need. And so what I want you to do, Chris, is when you see that I've gone up into my head, you can go like this to show me I'm in my head. And I want you to stand up at the back of the room, because people won't see him, and crack that whip, baby. And he would do that 2 or 3 times throughout a presentation, and it would work. You would see the energy in the room change almost instantly, simply because you were commanding that attention. So let's do a review of the 3 main core parts where you will be focusing energy and drawing on that energy for your business. Where are the main times that you will use it, and the ways and how you can be improving on that. So number one is your head, and that's very much a place from learning and from teaching. And it's also a time for making decisions. So that is a great place to be for those. But when it comes to you connecting with your own heart and to be able to connect with the people who you're helping, you need to move out of your head and move into your heart chakra. Because it is at that point that you will truly, truly connect with people and inspire them to take action. With your heart chakra, that is truly when you are really, really connecting with people. And that is where there is a true energy flow and where people will feel that, yes, I can do this, and will feel supported and motivated to take action. It is from a place of love. But you can't always stay in that place. Number one, because it's too distracting to be able to go into that teaching phase from there. And also sometimes that place of love, that support, will not be enough that really gets somebody excited to, yes, not only do I believe I can do this, but I am taking some action and I'm going to meet my goals and get that transformation that I want to have, that you are helping me with. And in that case, that's when you need to bring in that inner dominatrix and bring her out wielding with that energy of, yeah, baby, we are slaying here. So they are the three different energies that you have, and they are the situations that will use them. And you need to be using those every single day. Because, you know, sometimes the person who needs to get whipped into enthusiasm and energy and action is yourself. And that's when you need to be bringing that in and using it yourself to continue to take action and get results in your business. Okay, I would love to hear from you. Which of these three areas do you find that you spend a lot of your time in? Which is your comfort zone? And also, I'd love to hear from you. Are there any of those areas that you maybe find difficulty being able to transition into? And especially if you're watching this and you've got some really great advice for everybody else, please come over. If you're here on the where are we? On the blog page, that's great. Just comment down below. Otherwise, come over there onto the romancialtribe.com website to go under the podcast area to find us here. And share if you've got some great advice on getting into energy zones and when to use them. I'd really appreciate to hear from you, because this is something that we can all continue to get upskilled in. Okay, bye.